When you coming back?
Oh, Rachel, you're not unmuted. Just letting you know. I mean, you are. Yeah. Okay, so I think we can get started. Make sure you have scanned this QR code. If not, we will just basically go back to it as we usually do. Anyways, Kat is going to be leading this presentation today on pitching, which we are very, very excited about. Just kind of give you a rundown of what we look for if you guys want to pitch for us at Women in Motion, and then also kind of what different parts of the industry look for, and basically just a big summary of like what makes a good pitch and what makes you look good. So our Woman of the Week is Chloe Zhao, and she is a Chinese filmmaker. She's a writer, director, and producer, so has worked in multiple different parts of the industry. And her debut film called Songs My Brother Taught Me premiered at Sundance in 2015, and that kind of boosted her career and got her started, made her really, really popular. And she's directed movies such as Nomadland and The Writer, which Nomadland was up for a bunch of awards at the Oscars. But she's just a very influential filmmaker, someone who got started in the industry and had success kind of right away, which is not completely unusual, but something that you don't see every single day. So it's really interesting to know that she just kind of has that spark and has made it in the industry very well so far, and continues to make different films, directing, writing, and producing.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. So before I start, this is going to be kind of an overview of pitching from different angles. So from the writing perspective, the producing perspective, even some things like animation and TV. But I'm not an expert on pitching. I don't think anyone can be. Every project is different. Every room you walk into is different. So the best we can do is offer you some strategies when you go into it and some things that you definitely want to have in your pitch. So at its core, a pitch is a 1 to 2 minute explanation of whatever it is your story is, whether it's, just a short log line, whether it's a completed script, whether you already started filming and you need more funding. You're going to have, whatever it is condensed into 1 to 2 minutes, as brief as you can, just so you're not overloading them with information, but it's kind of short, it's snappy, and it gets the point across. And so for writers, you're typically going to see them using pitching to secure a producer. So sometimes this is having a script and trying to go out and get it, made into something more. So it's a producer. In this case, Women in Motion, you would be coming to us with a pitch, whether you're the writer or you are a producer. So again, writing, producing, and producers use pitching to secure funding and additional support for the production. So really, this is where they go to, larger studios, they go to individuals, they share your story with others and they try to get funding. This may also become additional support. I don't know if you guys went to the Sundance thing on Monday, but one of the Emerson alum was saying that, Alec Baldwin's company was interested. And so they kind of gave him a quick pitch and showed him what they had and said, we're making this. And Alec Baldwin attached himself to the project. So it may not exclusively be funding, it might be something else as well. And producers often use a lookbook as well, which we'll show in a little bit. And then in animation, it's a little bit different. Story artists will pitch, pretty much throughout the production. If you saw the docuseries on making Frozen, it's really good, especially the one on Frozen 2, and they'll show you what a pitch looks like, and they'll follow certain animators as they, they'll draw up the storyboards, and then they have to do, as part of their regular job, is pitching that to the director and the writer. And then in TV, writers typically pitch using a show Bible. So Shonda Rhimes, for example, when she was pitching Grey's Anatomy, put together what's called a Bible, and it basically has your characters, it has your log line, and it has some episode ideas. And we'll get a little bit more into that.
Awesome. And one thing I wanted to add, I think it's interesting in terms of Emerson, because a lot of the times people who are pitching are writers. So like, you have this idea, you have this script, so you are the one who's bringing it to whoever you want your funding from or wherever you're doing this project. And it's kind of not the same in the industry. Like a lot of times the writer will pair up with a producer and it's the producer who's the one who's going to pitch, as Kat said. So it's a little bit different in terms of Emerson versus industry, but just something to note.
So what does a good pitch have? So you want to include the genre and basically what audience you're going for, because especially if you're a producer, you kind of have to sell it. You have to show that there is, a need for it and a want for it. So you have to imply what kind of audience you're going for and what genre it's in. You definitely want to describe your main character so they have an idea of, okay, who's the protagonist, who are we following, and demonstrate the central conflict. Because the idea of a good pitch is that you should be able to kind of preview the movie, even in the few short statements you make about it. That they can have a pretty good idea of where it's going to go, how it's going to go. Really, ideally, you want to make it elicit some kind of emotion. We tend to remember things that we form an emotional attachment to. And I know those of you who maybe have had Amy Geller, she's really into emphasizing emotion as far as making your pitch, because it makes it memorable and it makes something you can relate to and you're going to connect with it. So you're going to want to invest more in that project. Ideally, you also don't want it to be kind of memorized and just talking at people. You kind of want to make it a little bit more conversational, make it a little bit more engaging in that way. As I mentioned before, it's visual in that it may be physically visual through a lookbook, or it may just be in the way that you've described it and you've kind of described your story world, that the listener has a good idea of what your film or project looks like. And then lastly, of course, you want to make it memorable because, there are events where producers can go and pitch at Sundance. I know they were talking about even on Monday, they give opportunities for producers to pitch where they just actually changed it, where the producer stays sitting and possible people looking to fund projects will move and you're just constantly pitching. So in those instances, you really want to stand out from everyone else and have a memorable pitch, because then they're going to go back to you at the end and say, that was a project I really wanted to invest in. So log lines. Log lines are something that I think people who do screenwriting really know a lot about, producers too. But really, before you even write a script, you want to have a log line that pretty much, condenses your script or your idea into a sentence, maybe two. So just to give you an idea of what that looks like, this is Legally Blonde, the first one. It's after Elle Woods, a fashionable sorority queen, is dumped by her boyfriend, she decides to follow him to law school. So even in just that short sentence, we have the protagonist. We know it's Elle Woods. We know a little bit of what that's going to look like. She's this fashionable sorority queen. And we have a conflict, we have a clear conflict. She's going to follow him to law school, and we can clearly see the irony that here's a sorority queen going to try to go to law school. And then next we have, this is from Toy Story, a cowboy doll is profoundly threatened and jealous when a new spaceman figure supplants him as top toy in a boy's room. Once again, we have a clear protagonist, this cowboy doll. We have, the conflict, some antagonistic force, he's being supplanted, as it's written. So you have a pretty good idea of what your perspective is in this story. A cowboy doll and a new spaceman, okay, we're coming from their perspective of toys. So even that on its own is extremely visual. You kind of can see where it might go. And then lookbooks. So as I said, producers primarily use lookbooks. You could use a lookbook if you're pitching to Roman Emotion. It's certainly not a requirement, but it is something you could do. And this is one for Lady Bird. I wasn't able to get full access. This is just kind of the initial thing that they would find. But as you can see, you have the pictures, you have an idea of the look of the film, of what they're kind of going for. The tone is really a huge part of lookbooks. And then if you were to open it, you might see things about characters, about basic plot lines, but it's pretty much to give, once again, another visual idea of what your project's going to look like when it's brought to life.
And lookbooks are also like, it doesn't have to be for pitching. You can just make a lookbook for yourself to ground yourself in your visual ideas. I think they're super helpful. And we have in the past done different sort of activities with lookbooks just because it's fun, since most of us are visual people, because we all want to kind of go in the arts or something like that. So it's really easy to like plant your ideas in some sort of references.
And then lastly, TV show Bibles. So these, if you're going into film and you want to be a showrunner and you want to kind of take your own concept and bring it to life, this is what you'll create. And this is like the master document. So as the show goes on, if it does get picked up, this document will be kept, it'll be added to, it'll be updated. It is quite literally the Bible to whatever your show is. And so this is the actual show Bible from Grey's Anatomy. So we have 2 screenshots. These are both from the first page. And we have a title. We have kind of this catchy opening. Welcome to Seattle Grace Hospital, where surgery is the game, surgeons are the all-stars, and the interns, well, the interns are exhausted. And then we kind of have a short breakdown of just what the show is, what perspective we're coming from. And then later pages will have character descriptions. It'll have an idea of what world we're entering. And then the biggest part is having episode summaries, because, you know, if someone's going to fund this, they want to see that it's lucrative. You have somewhere to go with it, that, you know, it's something that they could renew and have multiple seasons of, and you have fresh ideas to keep it going. So this is really important, even when you're writing a TV show, because it can help keep you on track, and then it becomes a valuable tool when you're pitching. So as I mentioned, I'm not an expert in pitching. I'm sure Emily or Cassie or other Emily, any of them could also give a presentation on pitching. But I come from a theater background. I did theater for a really long time. I was that nerd in high school that did speech and debate team. And so I do want to come at it from that angle a little bit of, yes, content-wise, any of these women would be fabulous at explaining it to you. But I think coming from that area of performance, it's really valuable that you see it as you are kind of putting on a little bit of a performance, because you want to share that energy and that passion that you have. Typically, you kind of have something semi-memorized in your brain that you want to show. But, you know, part of that is showing that energy and showing that emotion. So, you know, also have fun with it. You know, try not to get too bogged down. I know Ramona Diaz made a really good point at Sundance. She's like, there will be other films, you know, try to enjoy it, you know. So have fun with it, you know, put yourself out there. If they can, they'll see that you really care. They'll see that this is a project that you have a personal stake in and that you're willing to really work for. And then even just as far as beforehand, a big thing that I learned with theater, and I think anyone else here who has an acting background will also say, talk into a mirror. Just, you know, go and stand in front of your mirror or your camera and just say it a bunch of times and try it different ways, because you might find that, oh, this way works a little bit better. And pitch to your friends. Find people who, before you're going to go to that big person, pitch to your mom, pitch to your dog, pitch to anybody you can find and get feedback. Maybe not from your dog, but from talking people, get feedback, because they're going to have an idea of what kind of emotion that you're eliciting, and they can say, oh, that part was really funny, or, oh, I think it would be a little bit more poignant if you did it this way, and adjust, be flexible with it. You know, you don't have to just say it one way. You might find different approaches work better. So that'll help make it more memorable, and try not to stress too much, because the more nervous you get, the harder it's going to be to deliver it. So if you can just try your best to relax and just go with it and be who you are and share the story as it is, it'll be a good pitch. So then I just have a couple examples. These are each a video. And so the first one, these are all linked, Emily. So I hopefully if you scroll over them, they are linked. Yes, there we go. So this first one is actually from Khan Academy. They have a really great program called Pixar in a Box, and they have a storytelling section that'll kind of lead you through developing an idea, and especially in animation, how they do that. They also go into the more engineering aspects of it as far as rigging and the computer programs in a separate area of Pixar in the Box. But this comes from the storytelling area. And I find it's really helpful. It's kind of more directed at kids because it is Khan Academy, but you do get to hear from a lot of different Pixar animators, Pixar, you know, employees. So I think that's really valuable. And I think it's still something that if you're interested in it, it's free, and it's something that might give you something you didn't have before. So this particular episode is about pitching, and we won't watch the whole thing, but there's a part in it where the director of Finding Nemo this is the original pitch, him pitching to a small audience his idea for the film.
Amazing. Is there like should I just play it, Kat, or is there a certain time stamp?
You can just hit play, because I think the intro is also kind of nice with what we hear. And then after he finishes, we can end it.
Okay, great. Oh, wait, hang on. So sorry. Okay.
Hi, I'm Madeline Sharafian. You saw me briefly in the previous video. I'll be leading you through the rest of this lesson on pitching, feedback, and editorial. I'm a story artist here at Pixar, and as usual, for this lesson, I'll be joined by a few other artists and editors.
Hi, I'm Bob Peterson. I'm a writer at Pixar.
Axel Geddes. I am a film editor.
Anna Walitsky. I am an editor.
Hi, I'm Domi, and you may remember me from the first lesson on storytelling.
As you saw in the previous video, you pitch your story to people to understand what's working and what's not. And like so many other aspects of creating a great story, getting good at pitching takes a lot of practice. Andrew Stanton is a master at pitching. Let's take a look at one of his first pitches of Finding Nemo.
And he's woken up by his 6-year-old son, Nemo, who's now got a withered fin. It's from the accident with the barracuda, and he swims really erratically and strangely. But today he's ping-ponging all over the place because today's the first day of school. And he's all psyched, and this is the day that he's been waiting for, and this is the day that Father's been dreading. Because his untrust, his lack of trust, his fear of the ocean, everything is just coming to the surface because Nemo has Mr. Ray, who is the science eccentric stingray teacher who likes to bring all the kids out on a field trip to the reef on the first day of school. And so Father's just nervously taking Nemo along. And Nemo's just all excited, asking all these questions. Oh, maybe we'll see sharks, Dad. Do you know sharks? He goes, no, and I don't plan on meeting any. And so, how about sea turtles? Sandy Plankton said sea turtles grow to be 350 years old. I said, well, I'm sure Sandy Plankton's exaggerating, but if I ever meet one, I'll ask them. And then they finally make it to the school. Mr. Ray comes, all the kids get on top, and Father has to nervously watch and float with the other parents as they go off and disappear into the reef. And he can't hide his anxiety. And the other parents all elbow him and goes, don't worry, most of them will make it back. Yeah, don't worry. And I remember my first time at the drop-off. Oh, boy, did that scare me. Father said, the drop-off? They're going to the drop-off. They can't go to the drop-off. That's too dangerous. Nemo can't swim. And he panics and he goes off into the reef.
Notice how Andrew let the story unfold one element at a time.
Do you want me to keep going, Kat, or is that good?
That's good.
Perfect.
So I don't know. I think that personally, I really love that pitch. You can tell how much energy he has. And I love how he kind of takes on the characters. So you can really imagine and have this visualization of what you're going to see. Of course, it is animation, so it is slightly different. He, of course, already has a job as a director. And, he has a team of people he's working with. But I think it's really cool to see how he got that idea across. So the next one is Jack Schaefer. If you have Amy Geller, you may have seen this.
Hi, my name is Jack Schaefer.
So sorry. Keep going.
More of kind of your traditional pitch for, in this case, I don't know if it's a feature length or a short film, but her film Timer. So I apologize if you've had Amy Geller, you may have seen this already, but you can go ahead and play. I think it's still worth listening to.
Hi, my name is Jack Schaefer, and this is my movie pitch. Timer is a romantic comedy with a sci-fi twist. It's about a device that is implanted in your wrist that gives you a countdown to the moment that you meet your soulmate. But the catch is that in order for you to have a countdown, your soulmate, whoever and wherever he is, he also has to have a timer implanted as well. So our heroine, her name is Una, she has the rare dilemma of a blank timer, which means that her soulmate hasn't had a timer implanted. So she goes around dating timerless guys with the hope that they'll get their timer implanted and that'll be her soulmate. And she's disappointed time and time again until one day she falls in love. Well, not one day, but she meets a man who she falls in love with, and his timer is set to meet his soulmate in 4 months. So it's like, live for the moment, follow the timer, what to do. Something that's hard with pitching is you need to be really enthusiastic and be animated and believe in it. And they're not obligated to give that back to you.
I think that's a good example of kind of what you can do. She had energy. Of course, no pitch is perfect. She stumbled a couple of times, but she just kept going. And I think it's true what she said at the very end too. Especially, women in motion will try to give you a reaction and we will respond, but you might be in a situation someday where they're not going to respond and you have to just keep that energy and just keep going. So this last video is less of watching an actual pitch and just kind of a breakdown of
Writing's not that easy.
I'm so sorry.
What that role looks like. So this is using Westworld as an example, which is a wonderful show. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. So this will kind of just break down what a story Bible looks like and what it's composed of.
Welcome back to Studio Binder's series on how to develop a TV show. In today's video, we're going to show you how to create a captivating and comprehensive show Bible that will help you develop and sell your series. This is Avid Gabe.
I've worked on Rick and Morty. I've worked on, gosh, I can't remember the name.
Toon Wolf, and you may also know him as the basis for this Avid. When you start to take meetings, your goal is to get the executives to ask a lot of questions.
You don't want to be telling them the show. You want them to say, is it like this and that? And you want to say, yes, and.
That's where the Bible comes in. In your show Bible, you'll want a one-page pitch, a log line, tone, character breakdowns, a quick breakdown of future episodes and seasons, and finally, a page devoted to world building. Now, let's take our template for a spin by creating a show Bible for an existing series. First off, a thrilling series Bible needs to start with a brilliant one-page pitch. This is your first impression. That's why you should really lead with your logline.
You got to have it broken down into one sentence, because that's how it's going to start, is they're going to look at that one sheet and the first line has got to tell them everything. The logline can never be rewritten enough.
After that, you want to start depicting the show's overall tone. Start by thinking of your most beloved shows. Were they visually stunning? Provocative? You're using familiar visuals to convey the look and feel, and ultimately the tone of the project.
It's important to convey what your style is and the genre you're going for, because they're always going to ask you, what is your show like? And you want to be able to say, it's like a political drama mixed with a horror comedy. You're combining West Wing with Walking Dead, which pretty much not a lot of people can do that. You got to like cross different concepts and just kind of keep them guessing to go like, I never thought of that combination.
Next, we have to explain the characters who populate the show.
I'd say you want to have about 3 to 4 character descriptions broken down. Any more than that can get very muddy, because you really want to know these characters inside and out, and simplicity is the most important thing.
Define the key relationships between the characters in the series. Pick a star you think would be unforgettable in the role, or another character we already know and adore, and give less space to lesser characters.
And each character has to have their wants and their needs defined. You need those characters completely broken down. To pack a good punch into a short character bio, you want to have a statement, like a quote from the character that describes them, their catchphrase.
These violent delights have violent ends.
Now get ready, because this next stage might be the most important of all. It's about the future of your show. Executives want a show to be sustainable. Use your show Bible to create the feeling that the show could go on forever.
When I'm doing episode ideas for an outline, I would say 5 to 6 is perfect. And everything needs to be boiled down to the bare essentials. If you want to convince that your story has a lot of legs, your characters have to be able to go on a journey and to discover things and constantly improving themselves.
And last up, world building. What little details can you recreate that instantly bring the show to life? Use a mood board to collect all of these inspiring elements and present them together.
World building is very important because you got to know the environment that you're in. You have to know how your character is going to evolve and going to change, and make sure you know the ins and outs. Like almost inhabit that world and just play around and interact with your characters. This sounds like you're doing something like you're insane, but you really do have to do that. Like you have to be able to sit in that world and spend some time. Like if I'm pitching Cheers, I want to visit that bar and hang out with Cliff and Norm and kind of get an idea of like where I'm at and what's going on around me.
As a bonus, we've created a free show Bible template. All the tools you need, jam-packed with the memorable details about your series. Up next in the series, we'll prep you for the most challenging meeting of your life, the pitch. Make sure you subscribe and comment with your favorite spoiler from Westworld Season 2.
Yeah, so I just think that's a helpful kind of breakdown of what to include. So hopefully you found that helpful. I also really love Westworld, so maybe I'm a little biased. So if you want to go to the next slide. So now, because I've done enough talking, we're going to pass it over to you. We're going to do breakout rooms. And basically how this is going to go is that you'll take the first initial of the youngest member of your breakout room, and that'll give you what genre you're in. And then you'll take the first initial of the oldest member, and that'll give you your setting. And then it's up to you to create a story with that setting in that genre and create a short pitch. So you can do a lookbook, You can do just a verbal pitch if someone wants to explain it. But I'm going to do some random breakout rooms, and we can put the presentation up, I think maybe after, or we can send a link so you can see those, and then you guys can have a little bit of time to do that. So it's not just me talking the whole time.
I'm going to put it in the chat what it is. Kat, it's initial of the youngest is the genre, correct? And then initial of the oldest is the setting.
Yes, just to make it as random as possible. Seven groups of 3 to 4, if that works for everybody. If you want smaller groups, I can also do like 2 to 3, but feel free to speak up if you have a preference. Okay, I'm gonna create. Board members, I've also included you in this, so you will get assigned to a random group.
Yay.
All right, so I'm going to open the rooms now, and I'm thinking like 10 to 15 minutes. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat. And yeah, does that work? Okay. Did you get assigned one? Are you not in here? No? I don't know why. I literally just put oh, she's gone.
Oh, I don't think I was put in a room, but that's okay.
Is it because you're the main host, maybe?
Oh, probably.
I literally just said everyone automatic.
Yeah, it's probably because I'm the main host. Okay, one problem though, I don't have to go in a group. But if we're recording, it's probably recording this, right? Not the other groups.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's make one, Kat.
Okay.
Wait.
Well, two of us, we have an oldest and a youngest, so that's nice.
What, how old are you?
I am 20.
Oh, okay, well then you're the oldest.
Okay. So you're E.
Yeah. So genre.
That's first. The genre here. Do they have this picture?
I just realized I should take a screenshot right now so they have that.
Okay. Otherwise, I can do it.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Correlates.
We have sci-fi.
Ooh, yay.
Sci-fi in a theater.
In a theater. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Theater sci-fi.
I kind of like that.
I think it's fun. Okay, what's our favorite sci-fi?
I feel like one cool thing with that is we could like maybe the theater's like very futuristic and like people are on little like what do you got like on wires or something?
We have like hologram props and stuff.
Ooh, yeah, that's cool.
That is kind of, even as a hologram, you could to keep everything constantly moving.
Maybe the audience members are on their own chairs that they can control and float around and like go up close to the stage if they want or come back.
Right? They can kind of shift. Yeah. So what's our story? What's the conflict then? The theater starts glitching. Something happens. They have this futuristic theater, like surround sound, surround experience with, you feel like you're in the story, like you're kind of, the stage surrounds the audience and it's kind of built in. And then they have like these hologramic props and the actors move around and maybe something goes wrong and the theater starts glitching and they get trapped in the theater together.
Ooh, that's good.
And suddenly tech things don't start to act up on them.
Some things go on fire.
Right? There could be like something sparks.
Yeah.
And something gets caught on fire.
I feel like I want like one of the actors to be the one making it glitch. Like they're like the evil villain. They're like, I don't like this theater anymore. Like, maybe they didn't get the part they wanted, so they're really jealous.
My mom's bringing me mozzarella sticks. This is
Oh my
wonderful.
God.
I had to go home because I have a doctor's appointment. So I was like, it's a long weekend. So
Well, at least you got mozzarella sticks. Oh my gosh. Yeah, maybe like they didn't get the role they wanted. So then they're like, I'm gonna control the technology. I don't know how that would happen, but
so it'd be like in a futuristic theater where
a jealous actor like causes
so like in a futuristic theater where guests are fully immersed with an immersive stage and holographic props, a jealous actor manipulates the technology.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. Okay, wait. So in a futuristic theater where audience members are immersed in holographic set design, a jealous actor manipulates the technology.
Trapping everyone in the theater.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So for fans of sci-fi and thrillers.
And also theater, this one's for you. I feel like it's like one of those things where then people start to make like, you know, allyships or like, you know, try and like, oh, I'm gonna make my little tent over here and like I have my 3 friends and we're against this group, you know, like Lord of the Flies kind of thing.
Mm. So how are we gonna pitch this? What are we gonna say? We can say that log line, but then say, you know,
you could say like Lord of the Flies meets future world and theater. Or we could say Lord of the Flies set in a theater in a futuristic time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, okay, who's our main characters? I feel like we have to have like the drama queen who's like the one who got the part, and then we have to like set that against the antagonist who maybe is the protagonist. We don't know yet.
Are they the hero?
I don't. What? Go ahead.
Not being the hero, like an unlikely hero comes from the cast drama queen.
Yeah.
Who uses her skill of emotion to calm the audience and save the day.
Yeah.
Like nobody monologue. Save the day.
She's like the one who's mediating between the groups.
Okay. So we'll say the log line, and then we have our hero, our unlikely hero, is the cast drama queen. He wields her powers of emotional persuasion to mediate between the 2 opposing groups that form.
Yes. But in contrast, the jealous actor starts to spark more rivalry between the groups as technology continues to not work. Listen in the chat. Do we have a significant audience member?
The old man, the wise man in the audience. This too shall pass.
And maybe his wife who's like, oh, it's time. Now I die.
She's giving up.
She's like, whatever. That's so funny. That food looks so good. I'm very jealous.
My nephew was over and I was like making mozzarella sticks. And I'm like, oh, I have this meeting. My mom's like, can you put them in for me? She's like, I guess. And then my nephew's like, can you play a Just Dance round with me before you go?
Oh, that's so cute.
So he's like, that one, side. You can't like verbalize like, I want to do this song. No, I have to just kind of scroll through and
That's so cute. How long has it been?
like 7 minutes. It was like around 2. They didn't have the things at first, so I'm thinking like 2:10.
Okay, I'm gonna broadcast a message to all and say, we will close rooms at 2:10. Nika said she can't see it in the chat, so I'm just gonna put it. I mean, can you see it in the chat when I put in the screenshot? Yeah, you can. Okay, weird. Also another thing about our pitch, should the evil character ever be like found out?
I think he needs to give like a Hamlet style monologue on why he should have gotten the part. Like, I think like immediately we know it's him.
Okay, I agree.
Because he wants attention. He's an actor, okay? And he's upset. He needs the attention that he didn't get by not being cast. So he's gonna go up. He's gonna have like he's gonna grab a skull from backstage, have his Hamlet moment, like freak out.
When you say close all rooms, does that like do the little countdown thing?
I think so.
I'm assuming.
Are you doing it? Or I need to do it?
You can do it when it goes to 10.
Oh, I just did it now. Well, it'll close in 58 seconds, which is 2:10. So. They technically will have. Look at oh. Were you able to see the initials in the list? We sent it in the group in the chat. We didn't know if everyone could see it.
Did everyone
shaking her head no?
No. Oh.
I just pulled it up on my end on Canva.
Okay.
I took a picture of it, so I already had it.
Sorry about that.
I the chat, but I guess it didn't go out.
Yeah, when you send it in the chat and then you go into breakout rooms, the chat disappears.
That would make sense. Okay, good to know for future. Are we okay? Because if we need to, we can go back in the rooms if you guys didn't get it. But thumbs up if everyone has at least something. Okay, awesome.
All right, if we're all back, what group would like to go first and share their pitch? If you're comfortable, hopefully you are. Anybody? Emily and I came up with something. Oh, Riley, yes, go for it.
Oh, we can share. Me and my group, we had a really good time coming up with our pitch. So this is it. So our generated genre and setting was a fantasy set in the city of Boston. So I'm going to introduce you to our main character, whose name is Lucilia Moondust, but she goes by Lucy Moon. She's an ex-YA fantasy protagonist who spent her entire childhood / teen years adventuring, going around the world, taking part in all these dangerous fights and other endeavors. And she really did like it, but now she's a little bit older, a little bit too old to be a YA protagonist. So she has retired and hung up her sword or whatever it is she uses. And then she has retired to the city of Boston and tries to get a real job, like a big girl job, until one of her old companions approaches her on her way to her very first job interview and says, "Hey, I know you're retired, but we really, really need your help. Your brother got kidnapped again." Because she's a YA protagonist, her brother's always getting kidnapped. I think he's very much over it. I think that when, after this adventure, they eventually meet up and he says, "Okay, well, you said this was going to be done. I'm kind of sick of getting kidnapped because of your adventuring. I was in class and they kind of like stole me, so I'm kind of over it." They're all over it. They're over the whole kidnapping thing. But Lucilia eventually realizes that adventuring is her passion. This is what she really, really loves to do. Even though it doesn't pay the bills, it's something that she really loves. So I think towards the end, she learns how to keep doing what she loves, but also sort of make a living out of it. And then what she does is she becomes like a mentor to other young adventurers who want to learn how to do what she does.
That's awesome. Was that going to be a TV series or a short film? What were you thinking about?
I could see that becoming a TV series. Absolutely.
I love that idea.
That was so creative. See, I'm so excited. All right. Who else would like to maybe share after that wonderful first pitch? Who would like to share?
The brother. The brother was great. He's like, "I'm over it. No more kidnapping."
Anybody want to share?
Anybody else?
Yes, I see a hand. Tamar.
All right. I was in group 2, which was me, Gina, Cassie, and Juliana, and we had a rom-com in a hotel. So let me take you back in time to the Wild West. Essentially, our main little protagonist is a maid at this hotel, and she gets a little crush on. I'm doing this as a comedy pitch. I'm so sorry. She is interested in this sort of like cowboy outlaw who comes and stays at this hotel. And the conflict arises because her boss, a mean man, of course, has a strict, like, employees cannot date people who are staying here, especially because we've got these time period constrictions of, you can't just flirt with someone before marriage. And that's I think of it, unless one of my group members remembers something that I forgot.
We had her like going through his room, and like one idea that Tamar had for like a little comedic element is like he's on like a wanted dead or alive poster and she walks by it and just like doesn't realize.
Yeah.
And she goes through his room and like finds some sketchy stuff. So it's like kind of like an enemies to lovers type thing.
Very cool.
Is that
the wild? Oh, I love that. That's great. These are great. I'm very excited.
Or a TV show?
We didn't really talk about it. I think it has movie vibes.
Yeah, I feel movie vibes for sure.
Awesome. Okay. Who wants to go next? Yes, I see a hand. Emily.
So I was in group 7 with Rachel and Emily, and we got a sci-fi set in Boston. So we decided it's the Dunkin' factory has melted down, and the chemicals that make the coffee so good but so strong have like seeped into the statues, and the statues are like sentient now, and they like taking over Boston. Even like little ducks in the common and like the little frogs. And our main character Jedediah, he is a history buff in class. Like he loves history, but he's decided that he's gonna try and get the statues to start being statues again. And the like headmaster supreme evil statue is Norman Lear, who is pissed off because he wanted to be a nice statue on the hill in the sun, but he ended up being stuck in the alleyway full of theater kids. And Jedediah, with the help of the last duck and like the little ducklings statues, who is sad about always being forgotten about, helps him to fix the statues.
What a story. I would watch that over and over again. That sounds amazing.
That was great. Wow, you guys are so. I was like, oh, these are me like silly and fun. These are really well done, guys. All right, who's next? Yes.
So we were group number 3, Williams and Erica, and we were assigned to England and Thriller. So this is a story of a 16-year-old girl who is traveling with her parents in England, and she behaves really bad, and her parents just leave her behind. It's like, find your way back to the hotel. So she takes her bike and decides that she's gonna have a lot of fun that afternoon, but it's speeding up on a hill. She breaks her ankle, and like a bunch of people is around helping her get to the hospital. They finally take her to the hospital because she was out of town, the hospital is semi-abandoned. And when she gets into the hospital, everyone is just behaving super weird, and they're trying to like follow with the procedure in very like antique manners. This is like an 16th century hospital, so she doesn't know if the doctors are indeed dead or alive.
Whoa, that's super neat. I love that idea.
Very nice. Okay. Anybody else want to share? Yes, Julia.
So I was in a group with Madeline and Julia Kerr. So our genre was a musical and our setting is a rodeo. So you guys jump in when I start forgetting what we talked about. So our main protagonist is a sad rodeo clown, and he is just trying to find his place in the rodeo. He's constantly being overshadowed by his very successful rodeo competitor brother, who everyone keeps comparing him to. So this sad rodeo clown, he's just trying to find his place in the rodeo and become a better bull rider, hopefully, except he's afraid of bulls. So it's a fear that he has to overcome. And now I'm starting to forget the rest, so you guys jump in.
I think there was also like a character who he was really interested in, who was like took care of the animals, and he's like, I need to win this like rodeo in order to earn her affections and stuff like that. And it's a musical, so he sings a lot.
Oh, and it's called Holy Cow.
Very nice. I love this rivalry. We have rodeo clowns. We've had like creepy hospitals. You guys are doing great. This is great. Okay. Anyone else? I don't know how many groups we've done. Does anybody left? Anybody else want to share? Emily and I can share our pitch if you want to hear our short.
We're definitely sharing ours. Good.
I don't know. Do you want to say it or do you want me to say it?
Oh, you go for it.
So we had a sci-fi set in a theater. So we have a futuristic theater where the set design is holographic. And so a jealous actor decides to start manipulating the technology when he doesn't get the part he wants. And so during a performance, everybody becomes trapped inside the theater. And our unlikely hero is the cast drama queen who decides that she's going to wield her powers of emotion to deal with the two opposing groups that form within the theater. So we kind of have a Lord of the Flies situation where these people are trapped in this theater. And of course, our jealous actor is going to have a Hamlet moment where he runs off stage and grabs a skull, and he's going to wax poetic on the stage about how this theater has wronged him. And it's going to be as, I guess, more comedic, but as crazy as possible.
Tragic. Very tragic. Amazing. Anyone else
like to go? Okay, I'm going to share my screen again.
Thank you for those who shared. Thank
Yeah.
you for trying it. I thought that might be a nice way of escaping the lecture for a little bit. So thank you for putting effort into it and really going for it. Those are great.
So obviously we talked about pitching. That was what this whole presentation was about. So come pitch to us. Here is the QR code that you can scan. And just to let you all know, our pitching is going to end next Friday. So that is the deadline. It is February 19th. That is when we are cutting off. No more pitching after then, so please scan it now. Honestly, we are really just looking for some sort of idea. You don't even have to have a finished script, but kind of something like we talked about today. You know, bring your, a live statue idea to us and we will listen to it and would love to talk about it more in depth. So I'm gonna just leave this up here for a little bit. Please scan it. We're also we have a couple projects that have pitched to us already, which is really exciting. And we're also doing a short film showcase in April as our last meeting. So if you do a short film this semester and pitch to us, you can be part of that showcase, which would be very, very exciting. The form is not very long. It's very much just like, what is your log line? What role are you taking on? Do you have anyone else you'd like to be part of it? And then if you have a script, you can add your script in. But the pitching process for us is basically you come to us, you have a somewhat of a budget planned out just so we know how much money you're asking for, basically a log line. If you want to make some sort of PowerPoint presentation with mood board lookbooks, you can do that as well. And then just sort of a breakdown of how your shooting schedule is going to look like. So please, we would love to hear your ideas. We're always here. We're giving out money. That's really what we are. We're just a big bank for all of you. So come to us and we'll give you money to make anything you'd like. So just some upcoming events, as we tend to do at the end of our presentations. Next week on Wednesday, the 17th from 7 to 8, we're having a producer guest speaker come in. Her name is Alessia, and she's been a producer. She's also president of Women in Film and Video of New England. She's had a ton of experience in the industry, so I would recommend coming to this. Also, because our next meeting is going to be about producing, this is kind of a good little stepping stone before that meeting to learn or ask questions about things you don't know of. Our meeting is going to be a lot more about just filling out forms and how to do permits, how to call people, how to email, that sort of side of things, rather than what is a producer, because last semester we did spend quite some time on what is a producer. So now we're saying, what does a producer do? Here you go. So if you want to have more of an overview or ask her specific questions of what it's like in the industry, especially as a woman, this would be a great time to come to that. If you wanted to take a picture, please do. We'll also be posting this on our social media, as we tend to do. And then some event promotions. Beat Dynamics, you guys may have heard about this club. Cassie is on the board for that, but basically they do music videos. It's an amazing club. I was part of it and then just have been a member that doesn't show up, but still would love to be part of it. But it's an amazing club. All the board members are super duper nice. Basically they curate local music, mostly local music of different people, and you get to kind of pitch your idea to that artist, collaborate, and then make a short film, very similar to the way that Women in Motion does, where you pitch to the board and they give you money. But they're looking for more submissions. You can scan this for a pitch slot or for the music library. I've pitched to Beat Dynamics in the past, and it's really it's not that much pressure. It's very low stakes, but it's really fun to I just enjoy listening to the music and kind of letting it take me where I want. And then I come up with an idea, and it's really just a great practice. And then also if you actually do get picked up, you do get to make your short film as well. And you have all of Beat Dynamics to help form your crew, or you could come to Women in Motion, form your crew, but that's just something we would like to promote. And then
I will say just really quickly about Beat Dynamics. Technically, our pitch weekend
in one of these.
all good. Technically the pitch weekend was this weekend, but if you email me or DM me or whatever, we would be willing to do pitches like in this upcoming week to give you time to listen to the music, reach out to the artist with your pitch, come up with an idea, and then pitch it to us. So if you're interested, email me, DM me on Instagram, DMB Dynamics on Instagram, just reach out in some way so that we know that you are interested.
Awesome. And then we also have Art for Death or Vice Versa. We've talked about them before. They're specifically looking to hire an associate producer / marketing director. They are shooting not this weekend, but the weekend after that. And basically they just want someone who they can kind of fall back on for any little tasks that they don't have time to do, especially marketing is something. I had a meeting with them the other day. They're like, please, we really need someone. It's pretty low stakes. Like if you are just trying to look to maybe get something on your resume, or if you really like their project and you want to work on it and you miss their crew calls, this would be something I would totally push for anyone who's kind of looking to get on some sort of set this semester. You can DM their Instagram or email Orally, who's the director and an executive producer. Check out their Instagram for more information on it. They just put up their teaser trailer, which is super cool. But I would definitely say this is something that they are really looking for, and asked us as Women in Motion members to promote it there. And Orly and Catherine and Vanessa are all Women in Motion members as well, who are heading this project. So please keep that in mind as well. Obviously sooner versus later in terms of reaching out to them, because their shooting weekends are coming up fairly soon. And then one last event promotion, we have Ellie is one of our members, and she is doing a show, Speechless, for Emerson Channel. So we just want to promote that. Here's a short video explaining more about that.
Hey everybody, I'm Stuart Collier and I'm one of the EPs of Speechless.
Hi everybody, my name is Camila Ortega and I'm one of the executive producers of Speechless as well.
And I'm Ellie Simon. I'm the last executive producer of Speechless. So Speechless, we wanted to tell you a little bit about it, is a comedy debate show. We debate everything from hottest president to the existence of Australia. I mean, does it even exist? We'll never know. This season, the format's going to be a little bit different. We're going to have round robin debates throughout the beginning of the semester, and then a playoff. And then our final victor will be given a mystery prize at the end of the semester.
One thing that makes Speechless really unique is not only the hilarious debates on camera, but also what's going on behind camera. So while there are certain positions that will be the same throughout the semester, the majority of people will be hired onto either our front or back row positions, which every 2 weeks you'll rotate through, so that by the time you finish the show, you will have experience on up to 4 different positions. This is a really great opportunity to learn a lot about different positions and being on set. In addition, because of COVID and how that's messed with numbers, it will allow some of our standing positions to also be folded into the rotating crew, which I'm really excited about, because it will get everybody really involved and just give everybody more opportunities to learn.
If you want more info, feel free to reach out at us on our email, speechless@emersonchannel.org, or on our Instagram, speechless.tv.
Also, if you want to check out any of our old seasons, they are all on YouTube under Speechless at Emerson Channel.
Hope to see you come out for the show.
Awesome. So those are all of our event promotions. We're very excited. A lot of fun stuff coming up this week. We also, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Also, if you guys are planning on pitching to us, that is something you should probably think about in the next upcoming weeks. But hopefully this meeting helped in terms of getting you ready for how to pitch. And next week, we'll be getting into the nitty-gritty of how to be a producer. Does anyone have any questions at all before we sign off? Nope. Awesome. Well, you all are free to go. Please have a fun and safe weekend. Enjoy the Monday off. And if you have any questions, feel free to email us, stay behind, but keep in contact with us. And it was great to see all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Attendance form back up.
Yeah.
I had a question actually. Sorry. So for whatever pitch that goes through, is that film or TV show or whatever it is, does that work through you guys? Like you'll be helping to produce it, or are you just funding it, or how does it work?
We're just funding it. That's sort of the role we're taking on this semester. So you would have to, you're like the one heading the project. We can help you in terms of looking over safety forms, helping get you in contact with Lenny. We're just kind of there as a resource, but we are the bank, as I said, so we are giving you money if you need money. And then if you need help with like casting and crew and stuff like that, we would try and promote that through Women in Motion. And then obviously like we can put that on our social media and stuff like that to reach out to more.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Is the pitching, is that available year round or just during a certain period of time?
In terms of like if you wanted to do it next year?
Yes.
Yeah, so we try and do pitching every single semester. We obviously have a deadline, which is February 19th, because we want to give you enough time to shoot and have production and stuff like that. But we're trying to do pitching every semester. So if you maybe don't get around to it this semester, we'll be hopefully doing it next semester. So that's something to look forward to.
Okay, thanks.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.